Hello beautiful people, welcome to Closet Confections. I'm your host Kendra, and today we are talking about how to channel rich energy in 2021. Yes, so if you're looking for tips on how to look expensive, I did a video on that. I will link it down below. And there are tons of videos out there on that topic on YouTube on how to look expensive or look expensive for less, that kind of thing. This video is not about that though, because as we all know, the same way that beauty starts from within, feeling rich, channeling that rich energy also starts from within. So in this video, I'm just going to talk about some things that you can incorporate into your daily life and your habits that will leave you feeling like that rich boss lady that you are. And so without further ado, let's get into those tips. So tip number one is just to be thankful. Say thank you. Have an air, an aura of gratitude about you. So I will tell you guys that I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, and I was poor. Poor financially, so we didn't have much financially, but I was very rich in my family, the experience that I had, my education and things like that. And so I've always been thankful for that, even when there were days when I was hungry, literally. Did not, especially in college, did not know where my next meal was going to come from. I was still grateful to be in New York City, grateful to be at the college that I attended. And so every morning, before my feet even hit the ground, I am giving thanks. So I'm Christian, so I pray. And I am giving thanks to God. So I don't ask for much in my prayers. Every now and then I might slip in a request to the big guy. But every morning I'm always thankful that one, I woke up, two, that I have my health, my family, and also two, my wealth. And when I say wealth, I don't just mean financially. I mean, all the abundance and things that I have to be grateful for. So yes, be thankful. Write thank you notes, handwritten thank you notes. We don't do this enough these days, but I keep always, since college, I've kept a stack of either nice stationery or thank you notes in my desk so that when the occasion arises, I can write a proper thank you to people. Not just an email, but a thank you. So tip number two is just have manners, have grace, have poise, have decency. Unfortunately, without getting into politics, I think that over the previous 4 years, it just became so normalized to be rude, to be condescending, to be nasty, just to cancel people, to send a nasty comment in someone's Instagram feed, or to write someone a nasty note on Facebook. And just not be good people. I mean, when it really comes down to it, I think people have just kind of lost all social graces. So if you want to channel that rich energy, just think about the way that you carry yourself. So I live in New York City, which is very, very fast paced. So it's easy just to keep your head down, not make eye contact, and just rush and not even acknowledge the people around you. But a smile goes a long way. Saying please, saying thank you, holding the door open for the person behind you. Just little small things can just go a long way, because you never know. There have been times when I've been having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. And that random act of kindness from a stranger could be the thing to turn it around, or to be the thing to kind of stop me in my tracks and sort of shift my mindset. So think about how you could be that for someone else, and just be kind. Or at the very least, don't be a jerk. All right, tip number three relates to eating. So we've all heard you are what you eat. So of course we should be nurturing our bodies, and if we want to channel rich energy, one thing that I noticed at my very first job out of college, it was a tech company, and we had different departments. So we had the sales and marketing department, I was in marketing, and then we had the executive team, and we had kind of the customer service workers, and we had everything you have in a company. One thing that I noticed, the workers that were like lower wage, kind of like the back of the house workers, I mean, that sounds horrible, but like, you know, people who were kind of like on the lower end of the pay scale versus like the sales team who were probably like the ballers, and the executives who were like the ballers in the company, I noticed what they had for lunch. And and of course I know financially that plays a large part in it, but I never really saw the execs or like the sales team like eating McDonald's or like grabbing like a chopped cheese at like the deli or something like that. They would bring back salads, even if it was from like, you know, the same places. You know, they would try to have something sort of healthy and whatnot, except for this one sales guy who used to have a bologna and Fritos and a Mountain Dew every day. Except for him, I noticed a difference in what the people who were like higher up in the company, what they would eat, even if it was from the same place. Like even if we had like a buffet lunch catered in, and let's say they had chips and cookies and like sandwiches and whatnot and salad and whatnot, and fruit, I would notice the things that people picked. So inevitably, the more money people were making, the healthier choices they were making. And so that's something that I always try to keep in the back of my mind. And also too, in terms of what you're eating, trying to eat good foods and good quality foods, think about the presentation. So I'm not gonna sit here in front like I don't eat McDonald's. I eat McDonald's. As a matter of fact, I had Chick-fil-A the other day and it was delicious. But what I try to do, because we are at home a lot more, I try to think about the presentation of my food. So if I'm cooking a meal for my family, I'll plate our food in the kitchen. So if there's sauce that's spilled on the side, I'll like wipe around the edges with like a paper towel or something to make sure the plate looks nice. I'll arrange like the salad to make it look appetizing. Part of it is, you know, I might do it for the gram, I'm not gonna lie. But also too, I just like to have a pretty presentation. So I have like my set of like nice looking plates that I bought from Anthropologie with like little designs and things on them. For Christmas, I treated myself to like a nice set of stemware. So I have glasses for red wine, white wine, and a champagne coupe. Just because in the evenings, sometimes I do like to have a glass of wine or something like that to relax before bedtime. And, you know, why not make it fancy? So yeah, think about that. Instead of eating off of a paper plate, even if you are having McDonald's or pizza at home, put it on your nice china. That's one thing I've learned. Like, there's no sense in saving things for special occasions. If you love something and you enjoy it, you should enjoy it as much as possible, as much as you can, because, you know, tomorrow is not promised. So yeah, I will regularly, if we get something like burgers and fries for dinner, I'm going to serve it on the nice china. Because that's my prerogative. Like even now when I'm sipping my water, I have my little mug that I got from Tiffany's and my stainless steel straw. And that's how I get down. Tip number 4 for channeling rich energy is the music that you listen to. Yes, whatever gives you boss lady vibes. So for me, I really like the idea of having jazz playing in the background. So when we have dinner at night, even if it is pizza or Chick-fil-A on our porcelain plates, we always play music as a family. So we do not watch TV while we eat. We've even been teaching Christian, like, no more cars, no more super wings. When he hears the music come on, when he hears me say, Alexa, play, you know, jazz classics on Spotify, he knows
Coffee
that
table jazz from Spotify.
See, there you go right there. Alexa, stop. I forgot I have an echo dot right here. But yeah, when he hears me say that phrase, he knows that it's time to eat. It's family time. So yeah, think about what music makes you feel elegant, what makes you feel rich. For me, I definitely love to have like jazz playing in the background. One thing I learned about myself in college is that I cannot listen to any music with any kind of lyrics while I'm trying to do work. So when I'm trying to concentrate and I still want to have that like rich, you know, vibrant energy. I do like to listen to classical music as well as jazz. So for classical music, they've even done studies, is like it just fires certain regions of the brain, and helps you to think more clearly and stay more focused. So I love listening to Debussy in particular. I know there's just something about a little Clair de Lune that just gets me into a creative and productive mood. So yes, if you want to channel rich energy in 2021, think about the music that is playing throughout your home during the day. Tip number 5 for channeling rich energy is all about the senses, in particular the sense of smell. Yes, so I've gotten into the habit recently of wearing perfume even if I'm not leaving the house. So prior to like the whole lockdown, if I was just going to be in the house all day, I typically would not wear a perfume, but I have changed that habit. So I mentioned to you guys a couple of like body oil, scented body oils I like to use. So the Joe Malone Rose Oud, I think is what I like to wear. I think that's the name of the fragrance. And then another one is the Caudalie Thé de Vigne. So I love putting those on, especially at nighttime. And then if I'm just going to be home, I like my Hermes sprays. So the Vetiver Tonka is a great one to wear around the house, and the Ombre Narguilé. So yes, if you want to channel that rich energy, think about smelling rich and having those rich fragrances throughout your home. I've really been getting into scented candles. So in each room, I like to have like kind of a different vibe. So I mentioned before, the candle fragrances I enjoy are from Diptyque. I really enjoy those candles. And then also too, I tried some of the scented cameo waxes from Cire Trudon. So yes, gotta have those fragrances and just engage all the senses. You have some little classical music or some jazz playing. You got your scented candle in the background. You smell good and nice with all your fragrances. You're writing your little thank you notes. You're being gracious. You know, with all of that going on, you can't help but feel rich no matter what your bank account says. Tip number 6 for channeling rich energy is to learn a second language. Or if you're already bilingual, learn a 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever language. I just think that being able to communicate in a variety of languages just makes me feel so worldly and sophisticated. So anytime I travel, if I have the time, I usually will spend like at least 2 weeks, at least maybe even a month if I have that luxury, of learning the language of where I'm going. So typically in that short of a time span, I'm only able to learn how to like count colors, ask for directions, order food, and kind of like the basic greetings. But I cannot tell you how that little bit goes such a long way. And just how people treat you, how you're perceived, and also to the experience that you will have. So I know right now we're not traveling, but I feel like when outside does open up, you know, what better way to be ready than to have, you know, another language under your belt. So there are tons of online resources that you can use to learn a new language. A lot of them are very cost effective. In the past, I've used Rosetta Stone, which is great. I've also used Babelfish, I believe it's called. But yes, I took French in college, and I can understand it when people speak to me, and I can usually read it pretty well, but I have trouble responding back. So one of my goals is to like be fluent in French. I feel like if I spent 3 months in a French speaking country, I probably would have it down. But with that being said, yes, learning another language is a great way to channel rich energy. I actually am planning to hopefully maybe enroll Christian in some Mandarin classes. I think he's young enough and has like, you know, an absorbent enough mind where he could deal with the Chinese characters and like learn another language that's not based on the Roman alphabet. So we will see. Tip number 7 to channeling that rich energy, and this only applies if you drink alcohol, but knowing your wines. So this is an area where your girl would like to brush up in. My aunt a long time ago got me a booklet that kind of like explains all the ins and outs of wines of different regions and things like that. So I would say I was looking at a video recently, and they suggested having like 5 wines that you know inside out, like you know the regions, regions, you know, the like wine houses or the wineries that produce those wines, you know, and kind of have a what do you call it, the vocabulary for like explaining the properties and characteristics of that wine. So just when you go to a nice restaurant and you order, you know what you're talking about. But yes, being educated about wines is a very fun and enjoyable experience. So you know, lockdown, every year around my birthday weekend, Eric and I would, and so I had like a little connection and kind of knowledge about it. And that really, I don't know, I felt like it kind of elevated the experience. And also too, back when we were having guests over, I could say, yes, this is that bottle of blah, blah, blah that we picked up at, you know, such and such winery, and kind of know the history about it. And then also too, if you don't live somewhere where you can like go to vineyards and whatnot, or if you also too want to expand, because hello, I live in New York City, it's not like I'm in the Loire Valley. But knowing wines from different regions around the globe, also too, when you go out to restaurants and you're having like, you know, Spanish cuisine, or if you're having French or Italian cuisine, knowing the wines that pair nicely with what you're having and maybe are specific to those regions, just really enhances the experience. And also too, just makes you feel like you know what's going on. So yes, if you want to be able to channel rich energy, definitely know your wines. Tip number 8 for channeling rich energy is to read. Yes, read, be knowledgeable. And when I say read, you know, something, I'm not into like trashy romance novels, but reading something like biographies of people that you admire. I personally used to have an addiction to business books. Oh my gosh, especially when I was in sales. I've gotten rid of a lot of them, especially since I became an entrepreneur and kind of shifted my career goals. But yeah, business books, like books on self-improvement. And then also too, just like classic literature, like the great works. This is Black History Month. I'm filming this in February. So, you know, dust off your, you know, Maya Angelou, your Toni Morrison's and things like that. Right now, I think I am going to start reading Michelle Obama's book. I've had it, I know, sitting on my desk for like months now. So I'm going to read that for Black History Month. That's my promise to myself. But yes, just being knowledgeable about what's going on, being knowledgeable about literature. I'll be honest, poetry is not your girl's jam. But read whatever, you know, stimulates your mind. I love murder mysteries. You guys know I mentioned I love like Poirot and Murder, She Wrote are probably my 2 favorite TV shows of all time. And Frasier. But yes, reading is fundamental, and not just a magazine, not just a blog post, but actually like a physical book or a Kindle, I guess, or a Nook could also serve the same purpose. But yes, read. Reading is a great way to channel rich energy. Reading the right types of books. Ones that'll help you improve yourself in some way. Not necessarily a self-help book, but books that will stimulate your mind, challenge you, cause you to think about new things, think in new ways, is a great way to channel rich energy in 2021. Tip number 9 for channeling rich energy is all about your home decor, specifically having art in your home. Yes. So, and I don't just mean like, you know, positivity quotes and things like that around your house, but actual pieces of art. And no, you don't have to go out necessarily and like break the bank and like, you know, invest in like expensive pieces. Your girl, like, I have aspirations to do that. But in the meantime, you can find all sorts of original, affordable artworks. Etsy is a great resource. There's like some artists that I found on Etsy who make wonderful works, and they sell their prints at very reasonable and affordable prices. There's another online store called Affordable Art Gallery where you can search a database and find wonderful works of art. Eric and I like to travel to upstate New York all the time, and we always go antiquing into like little thrift shops and things like that. And you can always find works by local artists, like usually like landscapes and things like that. So if you're traveling and you're going on vacation, like getting works from the local artisans is always a great thing to take home and take as a souvenir. So yes, something that we put around our home, like in my living room. If you might have noticed, I have like a little gallery wall above the couch. Those are all original photographs that Eric and I have taken over the years, and all of those are like places or scenes that kind of have meaning for us. There are also artists on Etsy. If you send them a photograph, they will paint or draw or sketch an original art piece based on your photo. Yes, there are software programs that can do that for you, but I find that on Etsy you can find like a really skilled and talented person who can turn it into a true, like, tangible, original piece of art. And I just think that those are great ways to just, you know, make yourself feel rich. Surrounding yourself by beauty is an amazing way to make yourself feel rich, and you don't necessarily have to break the bank to do it. Tip number 10 for channeling rich energy in 2021 is to become financially literate. Yes, one of the best ways to feel rich is to know about money. Learn how to make money do what it do. So I personally have never worked in finance or worked in banking directly, but when I worked in technology, a lot of our clients were in finance, they worked in hedge funds, and so I had to learn a lot about that world in order to be able to have intelligent conversations about technology with my clients and potential clients. So from that, I learned that money is really nothing. It's really an illusion. The value of money is in the eye of the beholder. So once you kind of have that concept in your mind, because like money is just paper. It's all about what you can do with that money and how you can like learn how to create it and learn how to use money as a tool. So that being said, your girl is still learning about money. I by no means have it all figured out, but during this lockdown in particular, like this past year, I have been taking more time to educate myself. I've finally taken the plunge and started to make some investments beyond just like, you know, my 401k and things like that. So I've dipped my toe into like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and Ethereum and all those things. So this is not me giving you financial advice or telling you to like invest in these things, but you should definitely know about them. You should know what cryptocurrency is. You should know, you know, what the different retirement plan options are, 401k, IRAs, self-directed IRAs. You should know about stocks and bonds and the financial market, and all of those things. I personally, for me, have found that the best way to kind of learn about those things is to have some skin in the game. So I have like very small but regular investments in cryptocurrency, in the stock market, and you know, I invest in my retirement funds. I have life insurance, all of those good and adult things. And I find that when I actually am putting money into the stock market or into like, you know, cryptocurrencies, I keep an eye on it. And I want to learn more, and I want to be able to make smarter investments. Like if I didn't live in New York City, not that this is an excuse, I would have invested in real estate a long time ago. So that's another one of my goals in terms of like channeling rich energy, is to like invest in real estate either in New York or maybe in some place where it's a little bit more financially feasible. But yes, if you want to have that rich energy, you have to be comfortable with and know about money. I love watching those shows about lottery winners and like the curse of the lottery and whatnot. I find those fascinating. There's a show on HGTV where they have these people who've won the lottery and then they go house hunting. I love things like that. So the number one thing that I found is that a lot of times people come into money, like large sums of money, and they have no idea what to do with it and they kind of waste it. Your girl will not have that problem. I know exactly what I want to do if I win $5 million versus $500 million. Your girl already has a plan in place. along those lines, I also, in the past, I joined an organization called Women in Insurance and Financial Services. So I am not a woman in insurance or financial services, but my clients were in those industries or are in those industries. And so I joined that organization to kind of make myself more knowledgeable. Long story short, I became a member for like 5 years. And at one point I was the president of our New York City chapter. And I learned so much and learned for so many like successful women, women who really kind of pulled themselves up by their own bootstraps and made, you know, large fortunes and helped other people to manage their finances. So yes, if you want to channel rich energy in 2021 and beyond, definitely learn about money. Get to know some people with money. Pick their brains for advice, get a mentor. And then tip number 11, a little bonus tip, help someone else. So whatever your, you know, field of expertise is, whatever you have knowledge in, whatever leg up you have, if you want to channel rich energy, pay it forward. Find someone else that you can help. Think about someone that's helped you in your life, and how can you do the same for someone else and give them that same feeling and that same sort of advantage. All right, guys, so there you have it, my 10 tips plus 1 bonus, so 11 tips for channeling rich energy in 2021. This is a different type of video. I kind of stepped away from, like, you know, the fashion and beauty and whatnot, but I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any tips on how to channel rich energy, I am all ears. Your girl is a sponge trying to soak in that rich energy this year and beyond and give it out to you guys as well. Thank you so much for watching this video and tuning in, listening to me talk about being rich. I love making these videos and I hope that you enjoy them as much as I do. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. I put out videos like this weekly, sometimes twice. And as always, until next time, stay classy and stay fabulous. Tip number 9.